What's up, YouTube? Actually, let's just skip the intros. I have two questions for you, viewer. What do you think makes a good hero? And what do you think makes a compelling protagonist? I'm serious, I really want to see some answers to this in the comments. There's not just one right answer either, and the answers to these two questions, they overlap heavily. The narrative or the characters can create expectations for the hero, and it can be interesting to see how the hero rises to the challenge. Or, the world the hero inhabits can be interesting, we want to see how they navigate through it. It may even be something as simple as the character's design or personality quirks that make them compelling, or a combination of all three, or maybe something different. See, when you're writing a story, your main character is the backbone of the entire thing. You could have the best world building or the best character dynamics in the world, but if the main character is boring or uninteresting, then your story's gonna be underwhelming. With that being said, it's hard for me to say this, but shonen anime and manga have a main character problem. There it goes, let the fighting commence. Stay with me for a second though, let me cook. Shonen anime protagonists tend to be nice, friendly everymen who want to help every person they can. I'm not saying that the characters that are like this are necessarily bad. Those type of traits are great and we should look to embody them. I mean, shonen is a demographic that's targeted to 12 to 18-year-old boys, right? Don't we want young men to have these qualities? Let's not kid ourselves. Have you read Shoujo Noul, or Wild Strawberry, or Chainsaw Man? If I saw a kid under 17 trying to pick one of these up, I'd slap it out of their hands. So many current shonen series cover topics that would be too complicated or too boring for a young audience, and they feature violence and gore that their parents wouldn't agree with. So I don't think the side characters should be the only ones who fall or waver, who have shades of gray in their morals. I think we should allow these heroes to be more dynamic. Blind optimism isn't the only way. Let's talk about JJK. We're getting into it early. JJK is the shonen anime fans' favorite anime. Personally, I think the more shonen anime you've watched, the more you'll get out of this show. A lot of you out there see how much praise JJK gets and you probably think it's overrated, but I urge you to go back and read it or watch it again. Gege Akutami, the creator of JJK, takes every and any shonen anime trope you can think of: power of friendship, power of determination, the monster inside becomes a friend, and deconstructs it. Not in an edgy way where he kind of flips it on his head and makes it dark and nihilistic for no reason. No, JJK earnestly takes these ideas and storylines that are familiar to us and looks at them and takes it to another level. Yuji is levels beyond determined. He's extremely willing to throw his life away to save one person. In another anime, everyone would look up to him and strive to be like him. In JJK, that sort of one-track-minded striving to do the right thing causes Yuji to make a multitude of mistakes and inadvertently get a lot of people killed. It's not like this is a nihilistic thing like the story is saying being a good person is wrong. Yuji is still a good and positive person. His influence even changed Fushiguro as early as the first episode. So yeah, Yuji is a good, complex hero. I'm not going to get into all the details of the plot of JJK, but the narrative and the characters successfully set up the expectations for Yuji. He enters an interesting world, the world of Jujutsu, and we're curious. We, the audience, are curious to see how someone who was living a normal life will function in it. Alright, so we got that right. So tell me, why does the fan base hate him? On Reddit, on Twitter, on TikTok, Yuji is framed as a weak, useless bum who can't defeat a fodder character by himself. Forget the power scaling aspect though. Worse than that, he's considered a side character in a story that centers him. Yuji, a side character. Without Yuji, most of the major events of the story wouldn't even happen. But to the fan base, he's a side character. I'm not going to keep beating around the bush though. We all know why. It's because of Satoru Gojo.
I alone am the honored one.
Let's hold that thought for now though, and let's address the second part of that title. Let's get into the bad hero. For that, let's bring in our second anime. It's a sleeper many of you haven't seen. It's good and not good at the same time. It's Talentless Nana. Wait, I know you're ready to turn the video off, but hear me out. There's some interesting comparisons you can draw to JJK. The story follows Nanao Nakajima, a teenager without superpowers and a world full of them. He goes to a school full of superpowered teens to learn how to fight against dangerous aliens called the enemies of humanity. Nanao wants to be the leader badly, and even without powers, it's clear he has leadership qualities. He becomes friends with a bubbly, airheaded girl named Nana who can read minds, and she supports him in his journey, and it's implied she might even like him. Near the end of the episode, it's revealed his ability is to cancel other powers. Based off that, some of you might be thinking, and no, this show is not a My Hero clone or an Index ripoff, even though I think it'd be better if it was. The twist, which happens at the end of the first episode, is that Nana has no powers. She reads minds, quote unquote, by making assumptions based on deductive reasoning, and she's actually at the school to kill all the superheroes, with Nanao being her first target. In reality, there are no such things as the enemies of humanity. The real enemies of humanity are these superpowered kids. This twist is divisive. Half the fan base thinks the twist is incredible. They think Nana is on the same level as Light Yagami or something like that. The other half despises Nana and they think she's a brain-dead idiot for killing Nanao. Neither side is right, and I'll go ahead and explain why. Stop right here if you were interested in reading or watching Talentless Nana. Nana is extremely smart. She's easily on the level of someone like Yuichi Katagiri, who a lot of anime fans call a top genius. She's able to draw conclusions based on the absolute smallest bits of information, and she's able to convince the entire class of students that she can read minds for months. Even though I think Nanao's death was silly, like she had him wrapped around her finger on day one, why wouldn't she at least try to manipulate the gullible kid with the #1 most useful power before killing him? As much as I think that was stupid, she is complex and somewhat interesting. She's cursed with the fact that she is normal in a world full of people with talents. This is ultimately part of the reason why she chooses to participate in the mission, because seeing people with the power to do anything choose evil is unforgivable. So she carries out her mission without hesitation and without questioning where her orders are coming from. Let's rein it in though. I was saying earlier how I want shonen anime protagonists to be complex and have shades of gray, so what makes Nana a bad hero? Well, she's boring. It's hard to get invested in the real Nana because she has no agency. She's a passive protagonist. You see, passive protagonists allow the story to happen to them. Active protagonists cause the story to happen. The expectations that the story creates are boring, like we're not really looking forward to what comes next. The story thinks you care, but you probably won't. The world she inhabits starts off interesting, but becomes significantly less interesting when a bunch of these super-powered teens can get killed by one teenage girl with no powers. The story doesn't show her going through any special training or anything like that, so she can be able to kill these superhumans. I mean, she's smart, but the schemes she cooks up to kill them, they're a little, well, let's say uninteresting. This is why the Talentless Nana fanbase wanted Nanao back. And when I say they wanted him back, I mean they were still clamoring for him tens of chapters after he died, even after it was made pretty clear he wouldn't be coming back. We want to follow the active protagonist with the more interesting goals, not the cog in the machine. Yuji has sort of the same problem. He's not boring like Nana, but Gojo is orders of magnitude more interesting. Gojo is a complete subversion of the strong sensei trope. Gojo is the strongest, but he's not satisfied with that. He knows he won't live forever, so he strives to train up the next generation of Jujutsu sorcerers and attempts to eliminate each and every threat that can impede them. He directly affects the story. Why in the world would you want to follow a character who admits he's weak and attempts to get stronger but never seems to do any better when you can follow the strongest, who has a more interesting and meaningful role in the world, who directly plays a part in everyone's stories? Do I hate Yuji? No, I absolutely love Yuji. He's not a passive protagonist or secondary character in his story. He fits the story of JJK perfectly, and if Gojo was the main character, I truly think JJK would not be in the same place it is now. Yuji is a good hero, a great one, but being a good hero doesn't mean you're a compelling protagonist. Thank you all for watching. What's up? This is Fanta. Thank you for watching the full video. If you've got this far, drop your favorite Gojo quote or moment in the comments. I want to see it. Thank you for everyone for watching. I'm really interested in doing deeper dives than this. This is really pretty shallow in all honesty still. I didn't get very deep with the themes or anything or go too far with what I wanted to say. Just presented the surface level ideas, but I really am interested in doing anime analysis. I feel like there's a lot of themes being missed, and I feel like the general audience is not appreciating, the anime to its fullest extent. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, drop a like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Make sure to vote on the poll so you can decide on the next video. and watch more anime.